Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of the Professor's Picks, joined by you know who, the man himself, Ken Golden, the professor of Prague, owner of the Laser's Edge. What's happening, Ken? Happy Friday.
Just kind of dealing with the onslaught. February has been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The last couple we had a lot of stuff last week. We got a lot of stuff this week. So
Good. Okay.
yeah, and then of course there's going to be one week where there's like nothing. But it's been
I
surprisingly.
see. I see lots of blue orca, blue. Well, not blue orcas, but orcas with blue in the background behind you there.
Oh yeah,
And mine just came in today.
yeah. I
That's
still
on the
haven't.
vinyl sets, right? I got the
I still haven't heard it.
whatever. Yeah.
Pete. I still haven't heard it.
Yeah.
So
I haven't heard it either. So
they didn't send me. For some reason, Chipset didn't send me a promo.
no.
So, I didn't get the files or anything. But yeah, we got it's all kinds of stuff streaming in here. Vinyl, CDs. I don't know. We'll go through it. And, something will catch somebody's interest.
I would assume so.
So, all right, you ready to do it? Let's do it. All right. First thing up, let's take care of the pre-orders. Get my notes together here. First thing, we got a new one, the second album from 6x6 Beyond Shadowland. That is Robert Berry, Ian Crichton from Saga, and Nigel Glockler from Saxon. Kind of, it's prog AOR. That's what I felt the first one was, and if
It's a
that's right.
weird mix of people on that. I always thought, I guess it's not bad. But yeah, it's
I
strange.
don't know how they came together.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's like I mean, and Ian Crichton, he's really the
Oh, he's great. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, guy who probably deserves more attention than he's gotten over the years.
I would say so. Yeah, I always felt he was one of those underrated guitar players that, has been in this band Saga for so long that just never quite got to those levels. But man, you listen to all those albums, he just rips on every one of them.
You know what it is? A lot of it, the thing with Saga, for some reason, they just never toured here like religiously. And I
Nope.
never understood that. I never saw them. I mean, it seems like they came down to play it. They get invited to like Ross Fest or something like that, or festival, but they would put out a new album. They go play in Germany. Then maybe some
That's where
dates.
the audiences are for them. Yeah, I mean that's.
Well, yeah, they were always big in Germany.
I
But
saw them in New York City at BB King's when they had that big return to the States, their first show in New York, and I don't know what it was, like 25 years or something like that. And like 25 people showed up. I was just like, geez.
that's why they didn't come
I
back.
was backstage with them and they were so disheartened that like they hardly sold any tickets. But they played like they were playing in front of 1,000 or 10,000, right? So
The
kudos
pros.
to them. But yeah,
Yeah, but it's just it's shame that like the I mean I'm not the world's biggest Saga fan. I really like those first three albums. After that, hit or miss. But talented guys, and it's like how are you going to cultivate an audience in the U.S. if you don't come over here and play? I mean,
yeah,
at least for a Canadian band. I mean,
yeah. And their music is accessible enough
that's
where with some radio play and a lot of touring, might have been a different story, right?
what could have been. All right, and one other pre-order. Oh, by the way, that was April 26th. Also coming, and that we're going to have on CD and LP, just black double album, black vinyl. One other thing also coming out April 26th, Inside Out's very busy. Transatlantic live at Morsefest 2022, The Absolute Whirlwind, 5 CDs, 2 Blu-rays. It's only coming as an art book. So
I love Transatlantic, but man, I don't need another live album from them. It's just
yeah, I mean, they
it's
just
only
put one out.
so much of this you can listen to, right? It's just
They just put the sucker out. So they just put out a live album, right? The
but
last,
that'll sell really well. So yeah, I love them,
you
but
know what? They sell like crazy for me,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm happy if
yeah.
they want to keep putting out.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I don't doubt it.
Yeah. So yeah, I got I apologize. I didn't study the notes as far as what it contains, but the Absolute Whirlwind. So I assume it has like the complete Whirlwind album.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's usually what they do at those Morse Fest things is they play full albums.
yeah, and also I should really apologize for some of the things we're going to talk about. We got so much stuff in, and a lot of it came in late. I'm not going to go in depth because I haven't heard it or I don't know it enough to, so maybe you could fill in on some of the stuff. So we'll see. A couple of key restocks for the week, stuff that we sold out of very quickly. Ellis Mears, Stranger Skies, the CD. That was a really good CD. I mean, if you're into symphonic prog, and this one checks all the boxes. Got one of those all-star lineups.
Yeah, one of my writers just reviewed that on our webzine, and he really liked it a lot. Gave it, I think, 4 out of 5 star. So
It's good. I mean, yeah, I'm stupid because I could have signed them early on, and I said, "Oh, you're a studio project. I don't want to. I don't want to do it." And then they put out an album that was like the first album that was like, "Oh, this is pretty good," So they sell very well, and deservedly so. It's one main guy who brings in all these different people, but he has a reverence for like '70s prog, and it's good stuff.
and Rodney Matthews cover art too. So
Yes, very nice. Another restock that did very well for us and went very fast. Oh, here it is. Palace, the Messenger. We got the regular CD and the media book back in stock. Okay, regular inventory. Brian Auger and the Trinity live on air 1966 to 1971. A gray area release. Various BBC broadcasts from Brian Auger and the Trinity. That was with Julie Driscoll. And then I believe there's some tracks with Oblivion Express as well. So got that. Here's one that's got your name written all over it if you don't have it already. Baker Gurvitz Army, Neon Lights, The Broadcast, 1975. It's 3 CD, 2 DVD set from Esoteric. So it's, fully authorized.
good band.
Yeah. Now here's something that had been out of print for quite some time, and we got it back in, and nobody's nibbled at it, and I think people don't realize that we have it. Proof Feels Good to Me. This is the remix. Came out I think in 2019, and it's a CD and a DVD. You get the high res files, but it had been out of print for quite a while. I think we last had it 4 or 5 years ago. So we have some copies back. Also, again from Esoteric. This was, I believe, the final album from Family. It's Only a Movie. Came out in 1973. Has a bonus disc with a BBC concert from '73. It's pretty cool. Typical nice work from Esoteric. Steve Hackett, The Circus and the Night Whale. So we have the media book, which you were just holding up. We have the media book in stock. The CD we sold out of this, just the plain old CD. We sold out of it, and the Orchard is actually out of stock on it. So for the moment, all we have is the media book. I have a feeling what happened was Steve's doing that cruise. He's doing the cruise to the edge, right? So I have a feeling that
You took all the inventory for that. Yeah, that's
I have a feeling that I think that's happened before. So, but right now we do have the media. We have plenty of the media book.
So if everybody wants to see what this looks like, here's the unboxing video that you normally would have gotten next week. This is pretty nice.
The inside's nicer than the outside.
Yeah, this is very well done, as you would expect, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, nice.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I like what Steve's been doing. So I've always been a fan, and I like this last album a lot.
His last few have been very good. I mean, it's I think my only issue is that I wish he would have what's his face who does the Genesis shows with him. I wish he would sing more on the studio albums, but
oh yeah. Yeah, Nad Sylvan.
Nat Sylvan, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously I don't know why he did that, but it's an obvious choice. I mean,
Yeah, so I can tell you who plays on this. So Craig Blundell on drums, Hugo Degenhart on drums, Benedict Fenner on keyboards, John Hackett on flute, Steve on guitars, mandolin, vocals, bass, Roger King on keyboards, Amanda Lehman on vocals, Malik Mansurov on tar, Jonas Reingold on bass, Nat Sylvan vocals. So he is on here. I don't know how many songs he sings on here. Rob Townsend on sax and Nick DiVigilio on drums on one track. So yeah,
He's got the live
listen to
band.
it. We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm sure
like
I'll crack open the vinyl soon. Next, sticking with the alphabet, Illumishade. Let me get rid of this phone call. Let's see who's calling me. I don't know who that is, but I'll hang up. We got Illumishade is, my notes tell me it is another female fronted metal band. Again, my apologies for saying female fronted metal band with Elevetti's Fabian Ernie on vocals. You do with it what you will. Next, we have Ishan. We have two versions of Ishan's album. There's the regular version and the orchestral version. And Ishan, was the main guy in Emperor, and he also had a relationship with a familiar relationship with Einar Solberg from Lepers, and his solo work, I would categorize it as avant-garde metal. It's not black metal, it's not prog metal. It's a little bit of everything. It's very artistic, and so he decided to do two versions of the record. One is the orchestral, one is the standard. And the way you could tell the difference is the sticker on the cover.
Oh, okay. That hype sticker does something, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing, hopefully it'll still be on the website. We're down to the end of these, but I decided I'll include it in the video. It Bites FD, Return to Natural. So It Bites FD, this is Francis Dunnery's version of It Bites. And he's put together his own band, and he's out touring Europe with it, and self-released. And it's like kind of like Wishbone Ash. It's like two versions of It Bites out there on the road, but it's selling quite well. So we're kind of at the end of it, and maybe there'll be a few stragglers still floating around in inventory when the video airs. Next thing we got is Carfagan, and yet another Carfagan, Messages from Afar, working tapes. Anthony Kalugin, Ukrainian keyboardist, symphonic prog, and kind of over the top, very lush symphonic stuff, very popular. This CD comes with a free sampler CD. Damn, I can't remember what the hell he called it, but basically what it is it's a collection of Ukrainian prog musicians, different releases, just to give you a flavor of progressive music that's coming from Ukraine. It's kind of a cool thing. That's a freebie that is included.
Very nice.
Next thing, Kairos. Kairos is a British band. Used to be called Synesthesia. They used to be on Giant Electric P. Kind of like I don't know if you heard this, Pete. Have you heard this? It's kind of like, it's hard to describe. It's prog, but it definitely has like a pop influence, and it's kind of like progressive pop, but it's got some crunch to it. The way it's described is like if Haken made a pop album, it might sound like this. So
probably not all that different from Pineapple Thief, or you remember like Grey Lady Down and all those bands that came out
Cyclops and
those old Cyclops bands. They all sounded exactly the same, and it's
this one maybe is it's prog pop. It's got a little bit of everything. I don't even remember what Synesthesia sounded like.
I don't either.
It was on Giant Electric P. All right, going back to the alphabet here. We're ready for L. Leah. This is called The Glory and the Fallen. Do you know Leah?
No, I'm guessing it's power metal though.
Yeah, she's a kind of interesting character. Jim, is she from Vancouver? Yeah, I think she's from Vancouver. And she's very much steeped in the female fronted metal, gothic metal style. Very much like Delane, Timo Summers, who was Delane's guitarist, now still playing with Charlotte Wessels. He's on the album. A number of people brought in. She kind of models it along those lines. Actually, she kind of calls herself the Enya of metal, and that's absolutely that's spot on. Really
accurate. Yeah.
You get a lot of that like Celtic and sort of ethereal influences, but it's metal. But she's kind of an interesting character because she's a bit of like a right wing character. I remember like her posing. I think it was like on Facebook with like her like an AK-47 or something like that. Like her baby under one arm and an AK-47 in the other. Right? It's kind of interesting. But she self-releases and she's very popular and incredibly popular on social media. So there's two versions. There is the we have standard CD, and then there is the 3-disc version, which has the regular album. You get a instrumental mix, and you get I think it's the ambient mix. What do my notes tell me? Where are you, Leah? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. She's good for if you're into that thing. Leah's very good. She's very good. So if you avoid the politics and all that, you just stick to the music and you like that ethereal sound. She's got a beautiful voice, and it is quite nice. So I wanted to sign her many years ago.
Oh yeah.
She wouldn't tour. She refused. She said she won't tour, and these are like studio projects. I don't know if she's ever played live. She was raising kids, and she didn't want to go out on the road. And I said, "You're not going to tour, if then I'm not going to sign you." And from that, I think she kind of decided, you know what, screw the labels, and she was on Ulterium for a while, and then she's just doing everything on her own, and she's doing great. So if you're a fan of that style, you like Delane, you would like her music very much. Within Temptation, right in that model, follows that model. Very good. Next thing, from the gray area, Led Zeppelin. This is live from Kezar Stadium, San Francisco, 1973. It's a 3 CD set, and this is somebody who is very persistent. And we're going to get rid of this person. And well, I lost my train of thought. Led Zeppelin. It's reportedly a soundboard. I listened to some of it online. Some of it was a little shaky, and some of it was really good. So it could be that the origins of it being a soundboard are true, because sometimes with these soundboards, they start out real crappy. Jim, can you find out who this is? I'm going to throw you the phone. No. That was spam. Yeah, that was spam. Sorry, everyone. So,
someone doesn't want you to talk about this Led Zeppelin.
No, they love me. They want to talk to me. So yeah, so it's a triple CD. Next one, we're jumping the alphabet, and this one is a total surprise, and it's really good. The new Semiramis. You see, you're surprised, right? So
it's only been what, 50 years, right?
it's been about 50 years. So I was very surprised. About a month ago, BTF sent me the files, and I'm like, really? And it's really good. It's a new version of the band started by Paulo Faenza, who was the original drummer in the band. I mean, they only made one album, and then they got together at some point for some kind of reunion. I remember we were selling like a live CD from like 10 years ago or something. So this thing came out of left field. It's shockingly good. It doesn't sound like Semiramis. I mean, but even if it was the original guys, I don't think they could sound like Semiramis. That was a one and done. That was kind of a different kind of album. What it does sound like, it does have that like classic, what they call RPI, rock progressivo italiano sound, but it's kind of sprinkled with like a little bit of a contemporary feel to it. But if you like the old style 70s prog, You're gonna like this. It's got some good hooks. It's got some really good playing, good singer, some nice, really nice guitar, plenty of keyboards. The new Semiramis album is a winner, and I was really surprised.
So
All
Sal,
right.
if you're watching Sal, there's no excuse.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sal, yeah.
ready?
You got to be on it, Sal. Next thing. This is an oddball one. Einar Solberg, the main guy in Leprous. It is his solo acoustic piano interpretation of the Leprous album, The Congregation. I believe the origins of this was a streaming performance, and they put it out on CD. Have you gotten this one yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a bit of it, and it's exactly what I said it is. It's Einar at the piano, just doing the Congregation album, just him and the piano. So I think you
Tell you
have to.
right now, I'm pretty sure that won't be for me.
I think you have to be a Leprous fan, real hardcore.
I don't dislike Leprous. I like some of their stuff, but it's that
Well,
form.
I like Leprous. I happen to like Leprous, but listening to, and I like Einar. He's a great singer, but
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
just sit and listen to him tinkling at the piano, and you know, probably not my thing. But we've already sold them. So next one is a band I don't know. Maybe you're familiar with these guys. Released on Nuclear Blast. They're called Stellar Circuits, Sight to Sound. Prog-metal band. They are from North Carolina. Music has kind of like a bit of like a technical feel to it, or kind of I hear Haken in there, like more modern Haken, Polyphia, stuff like that. There's a little bit of gent guitar, um, some really some really technical stuff.
What's the name of the band again?
They're called Stellar Circuits, and they're from North Carolina.
Hmm.
And apparently, it came out like I think like in September or summer of last year. Totally slipped past me, and it came out on Nuclear Blast. Um, it's interesting, they're kind of called progressive rock, but not in the way I think you and I talk about progressive rock, or people who watch us think. Progressive rock often it's a name thrown around by the younger generations. I think it has different connotations. So the band that they're compared to often is Carnival. Carnival from Australia.
Yep.
Well, yeah, like they call that progressive rock, and I guess it's not mainstream. It's not mainstream conventional rock, so it gets called progressive rock. But it's not what. There's no Mellotrons. There's no Mellotrons on Stellar Circuits. There's no Mini Moogs on Stellar Circuits. But what there is some pretty good technical playing, and clean vocals. If I remember, there were some harsh vocals, little Cookie Monster here and there, but it was good, very good. So and completely unexpected. So
Might be something to investigate.
yeah, I mean it's out there and it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
Next,
Nuclear Blast now has had to, since the the label split. I mean, they've
oh,
had to
yeah.
go out and find lots of new bands to fill up the roster now. So
I don't remember getting solicited on this. I don't remember anything about it.
I don't remember hearing about it either.
But yeah, I promise everybody this is prog metal, and it definitely and it definitely has that technicality. So I mean, these guys can play. So it's very good. Next thing, what do we got here? Next thing, from the Gray Zone, Frank Zappa with some Captain Beefheart live in El Paso, 1975, double CD. I guess you guys kind of know what to expect there, right? Jumping over to vinyl, we got Caterpillar, Embryonic Fusion. So Caterpillar was a really underrated band on Vertigo with a female singer, and this is a session that was actually rehearsals that was recorded by the guitarist and kind of sat in the can. And it's been out on CD and now it's out on vinyl. I think this was put out on vinyl for Record Store Day, and we got copies of it. It's got Robert Calvert from, it was in Hawkwind. He was a member of the band, and so it's got a little bit of a jazz rock feel to it.
An interesting album. I have a different cover on mine, but I've got an old CD issue of it from like a million years ago. But it's
Yeah,
good. Good.
not bad.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got one of their albums, original one of their albums, when I picked up a collection, and it was funny. On the label, on the record label, it had a 99-cent stamp from the Princeton Record Exchange. Somebody got a good deal. All right, next in the vinyl department, Cheval Fou. So Cheval Fou was they were a French underground band, psychedelic space rock kind of from the 70s. I don't know if you remember, there was a band called Nil on NYL. They were on, I think it was on the Eurus label. I'm not sure, but there's some kind of similarities to like Hawkwind and Amandul. So, but a band that never released a proper album. Next one is something that I'm really stoked about. This is vinyl only, so you got to have a turntable if you wanna hear this sucker. Cosmic Garden Project, the Green Reverb, and this this thing I think is fantastic. It's a Swedish psychedelic trio. It has Dan Soderqvist, one of the original members of Algarnos Tregard. And I don't know if people are familiar with Algarnos Tregard. They made this kind of mythical album for the Silence label, I think 1973. It's one of the great psychedelic kind of Swedish psychedelic prog. It's maybe Sweden's answer to krautrock, and it was pretty trippy, and it was good stuff. And this was recorded with Anders Lind at Silence Studios, and Anders Lind is one of the original owners of Silence Records, and he ran the studio, and it's great production. The singer, it's almost like it's hard to describe this. It's not space rock. It's more like inner space. It's definitely psychedelic. The vocalist, he's kind of like singing, talking, kind of reminds me. The way I describe it sounds like Jim Morrison walking you through like the forest on like a bright summer's day or something. But it's like Popol Vuh meets Gila meets Yatha Sidra. It's it's great. I almost say go out and buy a turntable for it, man. It's one of these albums that 10 years from now, this thing's going to be gone and people are going to be paying a fortune for it. So I think it's a limited edition. I really like it. Next thing, Steve Hackett on vinyl. We have it in black vinyl and we have it on blue vinyl. This was a nice surprise. Lamberk, Indian Summer. So Lamberk was one of the founders, really, of the Swedish prog revival. Everybody talks about Engelgard in 1992, but Lamberk's first album came out in 1992 as well. And the band was led by Stefan Dimla, who had the Melatonin record shop and Melatonin label. And you had Raina Fisk, who was the guitarist. And he was in Dunyan. He's played with Elephant Nine. He's been in all kinds of bands. And he's also curated a lot of really cool stuff from Swedish radio archives. He was responsible for pulling all kinds of great, like old 70s concerts by all these prog bands out of the archives. So Indian Summer, they only made 3 proper studio albums. So Indian Summer was their last album, and it had a little bit more of a contemporary feel at the time. Once the band broke up, Stefan had Patos. I don't know if you guys remember Patos. It's kind of similar, maybe not that far removed from like a Pineapple Thief, but it has lots of Mellotron, which was always one of the signatures of Lamberk, and not quite as heavy as the album that I put out. I put out their first album with English lyrics called Lonely Land, and so people have been asking for Lamberk to do reissues for years. They've been out of print for about, I don't know, 25 years, long time. and I'm always asked about it. And they finally got off their asses, started Lambert Records, and they put new art on Indian Summer. And uh, yeah, so I assume they're all going to come out, and we just got these in. And,
Good news.
yeah. Our next couple that we already talked about, Semiramis on vinyl, Einar Solberg on vinyl, and now the cheap shit. So we got in cheap copies, Freedom, Freedom at Last.
It's a good album.
Yeah. And I mean it's worth picking up because it's I think $6. You know, was it Esoteric that did the box set, the Freedom box set?
Yep.
So, you know, this was the album that was originally released on Actuel. Another cheapie from Humble Pie, the Atlanta Years 2 CD set. So I think this is when Steve Marriott was living in Atlanta and he put together a version of the band. I think I haven't. I can't say I've done like deep detective work on this. I don't know. You're more of a Humble Pie guy than me, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's probably the later stuff, which
yeah,
it's okay. You know.
yeah, it's double CD and it's again cheap shit. I don't know if there's any left. If there are, there's only a couple. Could be gone by the time you see this. Mouse, Lady Killer. This was a very rare album. British hard rock, bluesy hard rock. Ray Russell on guitar, great Ray Russell, and I think it was originally released on Sovereign Records. And then the last cheapie we got here is Red Jasper, Anagrammary. So we had some other Red Jaspers cheap. We still have them, and then this one was missing. Now we have it. They were an interesting British band, kind of like a bit of a folk influence, but prog, and good, and people like them, and that's what I got.
Writing down some titles here. So that's a lot of stuff. So that's good.
Yeah,
Cheap things in there too. A little bit of everything. So
a little bit of everything. Yeah, I don't expect next week to be as crazy. The last couple of weeks we've been absolutely buried.
cool.
So
So as always, we'll have all of these titles listed down below, pinned in the comments. So if you're looking to copy and paste things, or if you weren't like me jotting down stuff and you can't remember from minute to minute when you're watching these videos, I get it. We've taken the work out for you, so it'll be down in the comments below, and we'll do this again next week. Right?
you want to? I'll talk slower next time. Yes. Yep. So
Sounds good. So lasercd.com, go check it out. And as always, we tell everybody,
please buy a lot, buy often.
there you go. Check the website frequently, as Ken gets new stuff in all the time. Because as you can see, Jim is back there furiously picking, packing, answering phone calls, all that kind of stuff. Actually, Ken usually answers the phone, but
Somebody's persistent.
yes, there you go.
Somebody wants me deeply.
That someone probably has a list of like 20 items. So you have this in stock? You have this in stock? Yeah, I can't go to your website right now, but can you check for me?
Probably not. We'll find out. We'll see.
Yeah. So
all right. So that's what we got.
cool. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. We'll see you on Sunday for ranking the albums. We're going to do a little jazz and fusion on Sunday. Michael Brecker as sideman. So we're ranking, Mike Antonelli and I are ranking our 10 favorite albums with him appearing as a sideman, and we're going to highlight our favorite songs from those albums. So that's coming up on Sunday. So see you here next week on the Professor's Picks for Ken Golden. I'm Pete Pardo. Have a good one.
Thanks again.
Fly on straight wings.